Okay, good evening. This is Jacinto Joseph BD your advisor for grade 11 ABMB. So right now I'm making this video in response to the various messages I've been receiving as well as what has Ma'am Lason been receiving concerning the confusion around the performance tasks. So right now I'll be here to try to clear up those confusions that you've been having. And without further ado, let's begin. Oh yeah. By the way, I'm only fluent in English at the moment. English. As such, though, if any of you would have preferred me to speak in vernacular, well, I'm sorry to say, but I really struggle with speaking vernacular. It's much easier for me to communicate my thoughts via English. Anyways, if any of you might be having trouble keeping, keep following with me, then I would suggest you at least try to ask for assistance from your fellow learners who are at least able to actually understand me more easily without any of the nosebleeds and all that. Anyways, as for what we're gonna do with the integrated performance task, you're what you should be primarily concerned here is with your goal or your grasp with rubrics here. Your goal. This is what your entire performance task is all about. Your end goal. Now, as for the many subjects you see here, as well as the statements like describe the effects of disaster on one's life, as well as this one, and here which here concerning philosophy where we have to do a philosophical reflection on a concrete situation from a holistic perspective and such. Personal development, evaluate his her own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Or general mathematics represents real life situations using functions. You don't have you I don't think you have to worry too much about trying to make an individual output per each of these things, since the whole purpose of putting all these subjects here is to actually give you an idea on how you are going to incorporate these subjects into your final output, which is the goal for this particular milk. So here, for this milk, you have to make a 3-minute speech that promotes the awareness of the impacts or effects of COVID-19 on you as a student. Here are the following guide questions that will be used in order to help you when it comes to drafting your speech. How does COVID-19 affect you as a student and your loved ones on the following aspects: economic or financial aspects, spirituality, physical, mental, and social aspects. Now in case you made the connection, as you can see, these aspects do connect with the subjects. First, the impacts on the effects of COVID-19 on you as a student. This would also relate somewhat to the DRR, where you have to describe the effects of disaster on one's life. Now, as for the aspects like spirituality, this will obviously be covered by Introduction to the Philosophy of the Human Person, where you are to do a philosophical reflection on a concrete situation from a holistic perspective and recognize how the human body imposes limits and possibilities for transcendence. Now, physical aspect refers to the physical education. The mental aspect would most likely refer to the. Now, where was that? Oh, yeah, here it is. Personal development. Evaluate his or her own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, and how the connection between thoughts, feelings, and behaviors in actual life situations. Then, social aspect, which will be related to understanding culture, society, and politics. General mathematics represents real life situations using functions. Okay, on this part, I would really highly suggest you actually refer to Ma'am Lason to figure out how to implement this part into the speech, or at least have some idea on how to implement this. Now, for oral communication, this will obviously be covered under the area of mechanics and spelling, as well as your speech delivery and written manuscript. Now, concerning the other guide questions, your speech must contain a prediction on the possible number of COVID-19 positive cases after 7th day using the diagram presented below. Then write a function representing this diagram. So obviously this obviously relates to general mathematics. As for the diagram part, considering there is none, I'll try to contact the other teachers on this and see if they have the diagram available. But as of right now, try to actually continue on with the goal on the speech. Next question, number three, enumerate five changes that you have encountered or experienced in this time of pandemic. Then, enumerate five ways on how you maintain physical fitness to fight against COVID-19, which is obviously related to physical education one. And finally, write three realizations that you have about this pandemic. This, this is definitely related to self-reflection. Now, in terms of role, you are a student promoting awareness on how COVID-19 personally affects your life and your loved ones. Your audience will be the students of senior high as well as the teachers. And the situation will be your school will conduct a speech presentation and you are one of the participants. You have to deliver your speech regarding COVID 19. Your product or output here would be a written manuscript and recorded speech. Now, for the recorded speech part, given the fact that one of the subjects and rubrics in particular talks about includes the use of direct eye contact, I would really suggest you don't use audio speech but rather video speech, where you are as though you are to present the speech as though you are actually in front of all the other teachers and students, and as such include also the proper body language when it comes to the speech. Now here are the standards for your speech delivery and written manuscript. Pretty straightforward. Then mechanics and spelling. Oh, and before we go on, Earth and Life Science categorize the different biotic potential and environmental resistance that affect population explosion. Next would be the rubrics for speech delivery and manuscript writing. These are pretty straightforward, so I'll leave this up to you. Okay, next would be the integrated performance task 2, which would be saan aabot ang 20 pesos mo. Now, this is obviously a reference to the Cornetto ad before. Anyways, in this case, we'll be tasked with trying to create a collage affo- using recycled materials and affordable materials not exceeding 20 pesos. Our the ro- you will be the learners here, grade 11 learners, with your audience being your teachers, students, and the parents in our school community. The situation, grade 11 learners are tasked individually to create a collage showcasing their interpretation and understanding of the topic society and culture as a complex whole. They are to use recyclable goods and resources found in their respective homes, and they can only purchase materials not more than 20 pesos in price. So in this case, your price cap right now is 20 pesos. Oh yeah. Concerning this particular performance class, I would rather like it if you actually had a inventory of the amount of things you spent in this particular task so that you can't just well exceed the budget of 20 pesos too easily. Anyways, you can get creative anyways and use recycled materials so that you can stay within the budget. Though I would rather prefer that for this particular output, you have the addition of a inventory, a long, sh- long yellow band, long yellow pad paper showing at least you that lists down at least your 20 peso expenses for this project. At least proof that you only spent 20 pesos on the project. Oh yeah, aside from the collage, a separate sheet must contain definitions and formulas of simple and compound interest, and they must provide a comparison when 20 pesos invested at 10% and 10% compound interest. This obviously covers general mathematics, and as such, you have to refer to Ma'am Lason on how to do this part exactly. Next is product performance. The learners are expecting to design a collage that exhibits their comprehension about the topic and subtopics presented and how they'll incorporate real-life situations using exponential functions, simple compound interest, and prudency and frugality. Standards, you will be assessed against the following criteria: coverage of the topics, use of representation, organization, layout, and design, and originality. Now, here are the subjects that are to be at least represented in this final output and how you're supposed to represent the subjects in the output. For understanding society, culture, and politics, it will be the particular theme and interpretation of this statement, society and culture as a complex whole. Next, introduction to philosophy demonstrates the virtues of prudence and frugality towards the environment, referring to your use of recycled materials for your collage. Oral communication uses various strategies in order to avoid communication breakdown. It's already up to you right now to actually use what you've learned from oral communication to more effectively communicate your collage to the audience. And to next is komunikasyon at pagpapakatao. I'm I'm not gonna even bother actually reading this. I really struggle with a bit of Filipino. Okay, here are the rubrics for collage making. Pretty straightforward. Okay. Here we are with the third performance task. Ligtas ang may alam, a reference to Kuya Kim's slogan from ABS-CBN when he was doing weather reports. Anyways, here's our goal for this particular integrated performance task. Your goal is to compute the magnitude of an earthquake and to describe the various hazards that may happen in the event of earthquake and the quick and right response during and after the earthquake. Students will do the performance task. Ligtas ang may alam. Role, you are vlogger. So yes, vlogger kayo. So you're going to actually make a vlog. So you're gonna once again video yourself about the earthquakes that happened in Mindanao in the year 2020 and 2019. So as such, you're gonna use a bit of the internet here and actually research the earthquakes that had happened in 2020 and 2019. Now, in this past year, from what I recall, at, we've been receiving messages concerning concerning news about earthquakes that have happened in the past few years, or the past few months since 2019. I actually even have a list of them right now on my phone. So perhaps to actually help you guys, I'll actually try to send in the group chat a screenshot of those messages I got concerning earthquake alerts from Vivox. Anyway, situation, the 2019 earthquake that occurred in Davao del Sur recorded a 6.9 magnitude, while the 2020 earthquake in Butuan City had a magnitude of 5.8. How much energy released by the 2019 Davao del Sur earthquake compared to that of 2020 Butuan City earthquake? Refer to the formula given in the box, which is this one over here. Hint, solve the energy released by the two earthquakes and divide it. You have to answer that through a vlog. In your vlog, describe the various hazards that may happen in the event of earthquake and the quick and right response during and after the earthquake. So here, formula for energy released in the earthquake. It seems complicated, but it's really simple. All you have to do is just change the M. So this is basically 10 raised to the power of 5.24 plus 1.44 times the magnitude of the earthquake, which will be your energy. Your expected performance output will be a vlog in the private group of each section. Now, standards and criteria for success, your delivery. So your oral communication lessons will actually play a role here. Content and organization. Once again, referring to your oral communication for proper arrangement and organization of your content. And finally, enthusiasm and audience awareness. Now, as for the subjects involved here, we have general mathematics, which is here the use of logarithmic functions. Well, in order to solve this, once again, refer to Ma'am Lazon on anything related to mathematics. Then, disaster risk reduction readiness. Identify various potential earthquake hazards or communication relating to delivery, content and organization, etc. Earth and Life Science describes the various hazards that may happen in the event of the earthquake. Komunikasyon at pananaliksik tungo sa wika kulturang Pilipino. Nagagamit ang kaalaman sa modernong teknolohiya, Facebook, Google at iba pa sa pag-unawa sa mga konseptong pangwika. Introduction to the philosophy of the human person distinguishes opinion from the truth. So in this case, you'll have to, in making your vlog, you'll have to at least be making it clear really what's the difference of anecdotal evidence and opinions of versus factual truth reported by official sources. Then for physical education, well, there's no criteria. Personal development, show the connection between thoughts and feelings and behaviors in actual life situations. In this case, this is referring to the description of the various hazards that may happen in the event of an earthquake and the quick and right response during and after the earthquake. So in this case, shows the connection between thoughts and feelings and behaviors in actual life situations. Those will be related to the quick and right response during and after the earthquake. For UCSP, analyzes the concept, aspect, and changes in and of culture and society. Okay, this is a little too vague, but if I were to hazard a guess, this is most likely related to the earthquake topic, so most likely the concept, aspect, and changes in culture society, especially in particular related to disasters like earthquakes. Here's the rubric for making the vlog. Pretty straightforward. Finally, the final performance test for Melts. Here we'll be actually creating a TikTok. Yes, TikTok. You're going to actually be making your own TikTok content on the Dolomite Sand, the Manila Bay. Now, for those confused on what Dolomite Sand is, I would highly advise you to look it up online, or, well, we could just look it up, or rather, we should just look it up right now. Give me a moment though. I forgot that. Um, just need to change the recording window. Okay, there, here we are. Dolomite Sand. Okay, here's a news article from the Rappler. Things to know: Dolomite Sand and affect Manila Bay. Fast facts: what is Dolomite Sand and how it will affect Manila Bay? Okay, so this article should possibly cover most of the facts you will need in actually dealing with this particular performance task. So just look up for this Rappler article over here. Okay. Now here are the mechanics. Create two characters that will discuss both sides of the issue. Now for this case, I am very well aware that we are under the pandemic, so considering the fact that it would most likely be too risky for any of you guys to actually come together to try to essentially do a face-to-face discussion, most likely you'll have to do it with someone else, like your guardian or your parent, in order to pull this off. Well, but oh yeah, I'm actually not fully familiar with TikTok, just to be honest with you guys. So if I'm getting something wrong here, just ignore what I said and just continue on making the TikTok. Now, next mechanics, your content must be balanced in presenting the affirmative and negative side. Third, the character must be distinguished from each other by changing the way they talk, employing various communicative strategies. Oh, okay. Sorry, it's just I'm not really familiar with TikTok. It looks like you could really do this by yourself. Well, maybe I'll look up what TikTok even is. Okay, number four, present a pie chart of your suggestion where the budget of the Dolomite Sand can be better used by the government. And number five, discuss the possible climate effects of the Dolomite Sand both in the Manila Bay and Cebu. Now, in terms of subjects, we have general math, represent real-life situations using Martian functions, earth and life science aspect, describe the changes in mineral components, textures, and rock due to changes on pressure and temperature. Oral communication and in context employs various communication strategies in different situations. Philosophy of the human person, evaluate truth from opinions in different situations using the method of philosophizing. Komunikasyon at pananaliksik tungo sa wika at kulturang Pilipino, Nagagamit ang kalaman sa modernong teknolohiya, TikTok, Facebook, Google, etc. sa pag-unawa sa mga konseptong pangwika. Understanding culture, society, and politics. Acknowledge human cultural variation and societal and social differences, social change, and political identities. Next audience, your TikTok followers. Okay, if many of you on the contrary are doing this for the first time, don't bother, don't be worried or concerned about having TikTok followers. The only TikTok followers that matter in this particular performance task will be us, the teachers. And the situation you are tired of the debates going on certain issues on social media. You want to educate your followers by presenting a balanced content, presenting the affirmative and negative side of each issue. Product performance, TikTok content. Standards, delivery, enthusiasm, and content organization. Okay, as for your TikTok content, I suggest you actually send us the link to your TikTok content. In terms of how you're supposed to send it, I would prefer you send it via via either private messaging or via the group chat, so that we'll at least be able to see and actually follow up with with your outputs here. Okay, and here are the rubrics, and that'll be it. So it's not really that actually difficult to do, and it's not that confusing, especially since you're just focused on fulfilling the goals established by these performance tasks. And know that the subjects and melts involved here are just basically showing you how you're supposed to integrate these subjects into your final goal or output. Okay, so I hope really that this was very helpful to you guys and that you were able to understand more clearly how to do the performance test. Now, if there's anything that you're actually still confused on, you're still free to actually message me tomorrow by the time you actually see this video uploaded into the group chat. Oh, yeah, and by the way, I might actually do a follow up video later on simply because I'm actually currently trying to figure out or at least understand how the performance task works. But I do know that you have to focus primarily on your goals here, highlighted, and actually trying to deliver that. Oh yeah, and also for any further questions concerning any outputs that require online use of social media like TikTok, you just simply have to send us the link into the group chat or private messaging, or better yet, do both. In terms of other outputs that can be physically passed, pass them. In terms of like the goal, like the Ligtasang May Alam and the collage. As for the video output concerning the speech and manuscript, there you can pass the manuscript in physically, hard copy. As for the recorded speech, same as before, try to send to my email account the recorded speech, or you can actually send me a link to the recorded speech, especially if you've uploaded it via YouTube. Now, the links for those particular pages, for those particular videos, just simply send it to me on the group chat or private messaging, or both, ideally both. Whatever output you use, at least be sure to send the link to the recorded speech to us. Okay, hopefully that will be enough hopefully that cleared out most signs of confusion. Now, I'll actually come back tomorrow, I'll actually most likely do a follow-up video in case anything is needs to be further clarified, but hopefully this gave you a good rundown on how to do these integrated performance tasks. Okay, one more thing. The deadline for this particular performance task is December 12th because that will be considered the final day of classes. So be sure to submit all of these by December 12th. It's a good thing really that you at least informed me about this as early as possible so that you can have sufficient time to complete it. Okay, so that'll be it for tonight. And if you've been noticing how I'm rather seem to be lacking energy, it's because I've actually had to do this as soon as I actually got back home. Since I was on my way back when I actually got the message about the need for these sort of things to be clarified. Anyways, I'm going to sleep right now. Hopefully, this was very helpful to you guys, and stay safe during this time of pandemic. And good night, everyone.